Hey, moguls, it's Dr. T here, and I'm just coming to you with another awesome mogul upgrade today. And our focus is about power couple secrets, right? How sovereign relationships are the ones that break free from codependency. So, welcome to this power couple upgrade. And I just want to connect with you again and remind you I'm Dr. Tracy Thomas. I am your quantum transformational advisor. I am the mogul reality maker, right? Helping leaders become top moguls that are positive influencers of humanity, helping them come into being power couples that are partnered in purpose and transformational creativity, helping these people transform their businesses into unique transformative empires and their families into multi-generational transformational family dynasties. Okay, so whether you're in a partnership right now, whether you're single and growing yourself and your relationship with yourself, let's be clear that your frequency field is sacred. Okay? And it must stay clean. So let's talk about how power couples, moguls, and dynasties get created through a kind of relational connection and love that liberates rather than enslaves people. Because when we think about it, love, which is a very high frequency and not the thing we've been taught it is, which is this very painful experience, love should never cost you your voice, ever. Never should love cost you your truth. That is a death of your actual self. And so if you're still like trading your truth and suppressing it for attachment and belonging, you're not in a relationship, you're in captivity. And you've made someone else have power over you and given them authority. And it's understandable, moguls. I tell you, when authority has taken hold of you from the moment you were conceived and someone else, people that create the authoritative power structure have control over the masses, your families for generations, you come into a system that, when we're really honest about it, is more of a prison than a nation. And it's important to understand that, of course, you in your life, as we all did, would trade your real self and your truth for attachment and belonging to survive. That's your survival identity. And that's why in the old paradigm, you had to overgive to stay loved. But the love never felt like love, right? Why does love feel like pain? Because it's not love, it's actually pain. You've gotten confused about love. That is not the frequency of love. Love is a frequency that is between 400 to 500, even though we're supposed to be living at 1,000. And love, though, is not meant to be painful. That's not love. That is the traumatized, bastardized version of authorities having power over your sovereign soul, and that becoming normalized to the extent that you give your power away to other people from the time you were little to stay alive. Of course you would. So, right, it could look like overgiving to stay connected. All things, by the way, that I have done and had to continue to transform. It's like things like merging to avoid abandonment, contorting yourself to present a version of yourself that is acceptable and fit in with the social engineering. Things like a suppressing your real self to avoid rejection. I mean, I have done these all, and most of the mogul leaders that I know have done this too. But one of the things that separates moguls from others is that moguls are doing the growth to come into their power and continue to transform those dynamics. Because in the mogul matrix, you get to speak truth and you get to allow other people to speak truth as well. You preserve a high frequency through intentionality, which keeps people out of the lower levels of reactivity. You choose resonance over roles that people assign to themselves as trauma responding coping strategies. The perfect one, the cheerleader, the bad boy, the problem child, all this stuff is nothing more than coping identities. But we have a different way that we can be. And that is our own mogul sovereignty of command of our own selves and getting all that crappy programming out of us. But one of the joyful parts is power couple sovereignty, which means that both people are ascending, transforming, growing without merging in some sort of an entanglement that makes you literally like become the other person. So then you both equally lost your real selves. And that is not a partnership. That is codependency. And that is the death of each person. And that's very different than a power couple sovereignty relationship where you are so focused on a purpose that you are not down in these bullshit programmed fantasy romantic dynamics. And excuse me if you like this stuff, but with all this childlike hearts and flowers and candy and just like playing some weird role of romance that was just given to you as some sort of compensation from being in your actual, truly powerful mogul self and what that would be. Right? So we let go of the fantasy of romance we've been given, which we've seen as nothing more than making a relationship some dysfunctional endpoint, rather than a power couple partnership is a transformational collaboration for the ascension of both people, the partnership, the family, the empire that gets built, the dynasty, and the most important thing, the dynasty of the human family global community. So we can either just be boyfriend and girlfriend or play husband and wife and play house and do all the normal shit, fighting over some freaking toothpaste in the sink and all of this bullshit that is from a power structure authority system that's main level of manipulation is to get you to turn on each other so they can go and do everything they want to do, and you will be fighting and confused rather than seeing that they're literally stealing everything that you ever were, breaking you down, breaking your family apart, literally turning you into nothing but a consumer of what they create. And they are creating mostly shit so that they can have a big profit and getting you to believe that it's healthy. And we know this because these people are putting stuff on labels and things, and it's lies. And there are people that are literally convincing themselves because they're so sick. They are the sickest people, which is why they would be willing to make other people sick for money. Some made up freaking thing. But they're sitting around making it okay to lie on a label, knowing it will hurt you and your child, and basically feeling like you don't matter anyway. And while that can sting, there's a level you can get beyond that just gets very calm and says, okay, they have had me as a puppet on a string, as a slave in the prison camp, in a gas chamber where they're turning up the heat. And I will not play into some childlike version of romance or codependent so-called relationship and go down that path that they've distracted me with. Meanwhile, they are making strategic mogul moves, creating strategic power couple partnerships that are not based on some giddy schoolgirl or schoolboy romantic fantasy. This is about mogul moves and power couple purpose. And I don't mean to burst your bubble, moguls, but this is what is needed. We don't need more people codependently scrapping it out and duking it out with each other while they literally steal everything that you ever were. We need a revolution in relationships and power couples who align on a purpose greater than yourselves that will grow each of you, grow the relationship as a vehicle for transformation of humanity and the human community, creating it from a mess of a dying population, barely living above the 200 frequency, into a human dynasty of high frequency mogul reality. And this is why you're invited up into the mogul level. So a mogul move would be to ask yourself, am I dimming my truth or even just lying outright to keep a connection with somebody? Right? If you are, understand you're not alone. We were taught to do this and we were taught to lie, and it was modeled to us throughout our lives, and it goes on around us every day. So if you notice that, you can now speak, I choose sovereign love, and I do not abandon myself for attachment. And if this resonates with you, comment mogul moves in the comment section and claim this new level of relational sovereignty. Let's do a little bit more of a quantum insight. This is not about disconnecting moguls. I think partnerships are amazing. It's about disentangling from the over merging and codependence when you didn't understand your own energy system and your own human design and that of the other. You didn't understand that your relationship ends up templating the difficult relationship between you and the authorities of the world that have chosen to enslave you. And when you are fighting as family members, as partners, husbands and wives, and all of this, or siblings, you are literally fighting with the very thing that is enslaving you, but you don't realize what it is. And you think it's these people, but you're all in the enslavement and you're all fighting amongst yourselves the way that they designed it to be. Because the stress of being enslaved is such a pressure cooker that it gets people to lie about who they are and it gets people to turn on each other, but you can make that shift. So some mogul mantras are, I speak truth as love. I release dysfunctional programming. I attract sovereign power couple partnerships. Okay, moguls, way to take this upgrade in. Let's do a little bit more to seal it and we'll be done. So like the video, if you are wanting to affirm to the universe that you're reclaiming your relational power and prosperity, make sure you're subscribed for more power couple, mogul level, sovereign leadership codes and strategies. So you have a direct circuitry. Okay. And you've got options in the description to look at the free human design chart so you know what and who you are, your blueprint and energetic style of relating. You can look at your partners, all your family members, your friends. You get to understand what you were created to be, what your purpose is, and what your trajectory actually is. You've also got my transformational books, the method, the commitments, the pattern shift, and more are on the way for you. These books are millions of dollars of transformational technology in them that some of the world's wealthiest people have paid for. as these have been my clients, and it's distilled for you for a very good value because I wanted you to have it, knowing that books have changed my life. And because you are loved, and I want you to know that no matter what's happened to you, there are people that love you and think of you every day, and I am one of them. I hardly can rest knowing that there are wonderful people like you all over the world that have any amount of suffering and need the support to upgrade and need it to work. So it's all for you. It's because I love you. So I hope you'll receive it. And lastly, when you receive wealth and you receive an upgrade, you become part of the circuitry of prosperity and sovereignty, and the flow that comes to you must be shared with someone else, at least one person, if not more, but at least one, so that you flow the circuitry through you, and the universe knows you are an open flowing circuit and it will send more to you. However, if you stop it, you will not receive the level of prosperity that you are looking for, and no amount of work can ever get you there. You only receive wealth by sharing the flow, coming into the circuitry of this wealth, sharing it with others, and that is not some stupid marketing tactic for measures, metrics, or whatever. I don't care. I'm letting you know the physics, the quantum physics and mechanics, which are you want to be sharing the flow so the flow comes through you. And the more you share it expansively, the more wealth you will receive. It is not some weird metaphysical thing, it is physics. You must become part of the circuitry or you will only receive whatever level you ever share. And if you don't share at all, you will barely receive drips and drabs. So I want better for you. Okay, moguls, thanks for taking the upgrade. I'm really proud of you. Make sure also that you stay tuned in to all the upgrades with these upcoming videos so that you can keep this immersion flowing. And instead of tuning into the low frequency where you might reside and in the world around you, you tune into the mogul frequency and you upgrade into the mogul reality of power, high frequency living, and ascending into the royal throne of the reality that you're here to reign over. All right, moguls, get the next video and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.